Hey guys, how are you? It's Brandon, Brandon and John here. John and Brandon for
Hey
Coffee with
guys,
John and Brandon. Hey John, how are you, buddy?
things are good. What's going on your end?
Not too much. You got a coffee? I got a Timmy's today, Tim Hortons.
I've got my
Don't judge
plain
me.
old. It's all right.
Coffee.
I'll let you off.
Come on, it's Coffee with John and Brandon, so we have to have something going here. All right, listen. Okay, so everybody, I know that we have, you know, we're kind of making this stuff up as we go, but that's okay. So yesterday I did a presentation with CAPIC, which is the Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants, which is our professional association. And it was basically Express Entry 101. So after that, John and I were speaking. As we're speaking mostly about economic stuff, because that's where we work, and basically people that want to come through Express Entry, I figured we were going to talk about a few different things, some of the background and some of the stats on Express Entry,
Yeah,
and why this is so important for people who want to come to Canada. So we're good with that, right, John?
yeah. No. Let's dive right into it.
Okay, cool. So what I did is I parsed out some of the statistics and different things, and I figured we could just discuss it because I know you're a big stats guy too. And I know before everybody who's listening, they're like, "Oh, they're going to talk about statistics, so boring." It's actually not. It's going to be really. I hope it'll be pretty interesting. So here's the thing. About 58% of immigrants that are coming to Canada are coming through the economic programs, right? And this is where a lot of people need to actually plan to where they're going to end up, because that's where they're going to really end up. Okay.
Yeah. Unless you've got
So,
family, unless you've got close family in Canada, and you're a refugee, this is really your only option.
you know what? I pulled out a graphic. Man, you're reading my mind on that. I pulled out a graphic. Let me put that up there so we can visually do
Yeah,
that. Where is that?
there
Look
it
at
is.
that. Actually, I'll make it bigger for everybody to see. So, yeah, at the end of the day, this is what the makeup is for programs for people that are coming to Canada. So, as you can see, the economic classes. John, what's an economic class, man? Why don't you explain that for everybody?
Economic class is basically classes of visa for persons who want to come to Canada, and your eligibility is based on a combination of factors: education, age, work experience. Can include familial connections to Canada. Most significantly, a job offer if you have it, if you have what they call arranged employment to Canada, and of course language tests. So all these are put together, and it can make you eligible under one of the categories under the economic class.
Right. So, and then obviously refugees and protected persons, these are people that are coming under, international arrangements for people that are fleeing, maybe a war torn place, or they need to be
Yeah,
protected for something. And then family class, you want to give that a go?
almost all of it is close family. It's sponsoring your common law partner, wife, husband, significant other to Canada, and your dependent children. And dependent children are defined as those under the age of 22. It also includes your parents and grandparents, although that is we could have a whole day just on that class
Yeah.
of coffee with Brandon. Yeah, but so it can be done. You can sponsor your parents and grandparents. And interestingly enough, there's also something we call the lonely Canadian class, which is
Yes.
if you're in the country all on your own, no family at all, and no close family abroad, no wife, no children, no parents or grandparents, you can sponsor an auntie or an uncle or a cousin, but those are rare. Those are quite rare.
You know what? I got to tell you, it's funny you bring that up, because that is very rare, but that's one of the things that I get a lot of questions about, because
Yeah.
it's when you actually read about it online, it's actually very deceptive. Because it's like
Mm-hmm.
people are like, "Oh, can I sponsor my brother?" Because I read this, and I'm like, "No, you got to read actually a little bit deeper, and this is the interpretation." But it's
Mm-hmm.
exactly that. It's like, yes, I'm in Canada, I'm by myself, and I have no other people in the world except my elderly sister that I want to hang out with, right? So, that's basically what that's used, and it generally falls under more of an H&C type of program as well. But yeah, that's definitely something that's misunderstood a lot. So cool. Let me take that down. Let's dive into some of the stats here. Now I sent you over. I took a snippet out of the presentation that I did yesterday. I sent that over. Do you want to go over those?
Yeah, your express entry presentation.
Yeah, I sent you over those statistics.
Right. Yeah, bring them. Yeah, bring them back up.
Okay, cool. I don't have them. I just sent them over to you. Do you have that? Do you have that note? I
do. Just everybody just dancing between screens here as we're talking. But yeah,
that's okay.
So 58%.
This is not scripted, folks.
Yeah. So yeah, 58% of immigrants come to Canada through express entry. Yeah, that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is what I don't know about you, but this is what I tell people. Like when you're planning your application, and I know we have some people watching right now. Thank you for that. And by the way, if you are watching, we can get your questions live via Facebook, so you can type them into chat. And we've kind of planned our time so that if you want to put something in there, we'll try to answer that. But again, for people that are planning to come, one of the things that I do tell people is you got to start here. And I know you do the exact same thing here. Where do you want to, what do you want? Do you want to come here and work? Do you want to just hang out, or are you looking at like PR? So this is your endpoint. How do we work backwards and where it's going to be? But this endpoint for PR is 9 out of 10 times express entry, right?
Yes.
So that's it. So 58%, right? 1.2 million immigrants to Canada by 2023. I know this has been in the news a lot, eh? What do you think of that, John?
Well, especially it's interesting because what we're going to see sort of a weird dip in intake over the next couple of years. Because what happened is, because of the pandemic, I believe the last statistic I saw is that we only met something like 46% of our target intake for 2020. And our intake for 2021 has increased. And the government has made it pretty clear that they want to not only meet the intake for 2021, they want to play catch up from 2020. And that could mean we were looking at over 600,000 people coming in as PRs over the next 18 months. So that could mean a big shakeup in express entry. And in fact, Brandon, you can confirm we've already seen that with a Canadian experience class invitation of 75 CRS points. It was crazy. It just blew all of us.
27,332 people in one day invited. That's actually, we can dive into that on another day. But I'll tell you what, here's the thing, and this is what I constantly tell people. The government has basically said they're bringing in 1.2 million people. Where are they going to get the people? They're going to get them from overseas. And they can't, because we saw the draw. They already cleaned out the inventory in Canada. There's been student numbers have gone down, right? So, again, if somebody comes here as a student and then they go through and then they get a post-grad work permit, Canadian experience, and then go to a Canadian experience class, there's not enough people. They cleaned out the system totally, and it was 27,332 people. Right. So that sets that number pretty hard. If you have to bring in the people, you're going to have to bring them in from overseas. So that's very interesting, I think. And again, on top of that, the temporary side, you're looking at, 402 study permits and 404 temporary work permits, I think was the stat.
Yeah, it was in the hundreds of thousands. I mean, what was it, 400,000 and then some? I mean, it was something else. 341,000 permanent immigrants. 402,000 study permits and 404,000 work permits. Something else.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Here's the other thing, and this is what I really wanted to talk about, because this is what we were talking about in our presentation the other day or yesterday. is I was telling people what life before express entry and why we have express entry. And I know guys don't find that, listen, it's important to understand this. And the reason that it's important is because it explains why and how you can actually come to Canada. So, John, I know you remember pre-express entry. Do you want to kind of set the stage for that?
Yeah. Prior to this, it was a list of occupations. There was sort of a holy grail of 50 NOC codes, 50 occupations as defined by the government of Canada, who could apply for federal skilled worker. And, everybody was trying to tweak madly whether or not they could, fit into that list. And to make a very long story short, it just got too unwieldy for the federal government. They were just like, this is just not working. And so they set up express entry to have a pool of candidates, right? And in that pool of candidates, they're ranked by CRS score. And if you imagine that pool being full of fish, to use an analogy, the government goes in and says, okay, we're going to catch all the fish that are over 450, right? And they bring them all out and they process them. But the smaller fish stay in, and they're there to be drawn on if the government feels the need to, and they feel they're not going to be meeting their targets for the year. They can always have that option of pulling out the smaller fish, the people with the lower points. Again, there was the bombshell that happened back in February. We saw this and we were like, wow, we've never seen this before. And it could happen again. It could well happen again. And so this is why Brandon and I have been telling our clients, if you can just get into the express entry pool, even if your score is low, get in, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You could get invited.
The scores are definitely going to go down. And the other thing, but express entry is actually a really smart system, because pre-2013, we had these occupation in demand lists, and like if you were a nurse, it was like 1,000 people could get in. So it was a race to get all this paper sent into the intake office.
Paper.
Right. It was all paper too, right? And you had to get it in, and it was crazy. And then on top of that, there was this huge backlog, right? And there was 250,000 applications that they returned. And I was speaking about this yesterday to some of the newer consultants. I was like, guys, like, it was crazy. And like, in Canada, we always tell people, yeah, just wait your turn in line and we'll get to you. But they had to do it. I had I had a lot of trouble with how they did it. But, quite frankly, what choice did they have? And now the system is better for it. You're seeing a lot more stuff go online, right? So, and we see that. So the good thing to know about express entry is that it's an application system, and it administers 4 different programs, actually 3 programs, and there's an add-on there, which is the PNPs. So you've got the federal skilled worker, you've got the federal skilled trades, and you've got the CEC, the Canadian experience class. Okay. Just really briefly, and we can, if people want to hear about this at some other point, we can direct them if they really want to dive deep into it. But federal skilled trades, if you're a plumber, an electrician, some sort of tradesperson, that's for you. Canadian experience class, if you've got at least 1 year of Canadian work experience, skilled Canadian work experience, not self-employed. And then federal skilled worker, 1 year of skilled overseas work experience. So
we should also touch just briefly upon the definition of skilled work experience, because this is something that I've seen quite a few people trip themselves up with.
Hit it.
For those of so skilled work experience is defined as work experience. It's either at a managerial level, a professional level, or a trades level. Now, managerial level are things like restaurant retail manager and all the way up to your CEO. Professional, your doctors, your lawyers, your architects, your engineers, your administrative officers, things like that. And then your trades are, your plumbers, your welders, your cooks, your chefs, your bricklayers and whatnot. What is not skilled, and this is the government's definition. I'm not throwing salt on people who work in these occupations. This is how the government of Canada looks at it. But bartenders, waiters, a lot of agriculture workers are considered unskilled or semi-skilled. And the problem is that under all these programs that Brandon just mentioned, if your work experience is semi-skilled or lower skilled, not skilled, you're not going to qualify into these, or it's going to be extremely difficult and unlikely to qualify under any of these programs. So,
yeah. It's funny. I get a lot of people. Well, I know you get a lot of people too, because we talk about it, but a lot of people, they want to come and they want to work. And, it's challenging because obviously we have the whole process with the LMIAs and all that, but I don't want to dive into that. I want to stick to express entry, kind of express entry 101. So I see there's a few questions. So Ruben and Rasa, I believe. We'll get to those in a few seconds. I pulled something else up too that I wanted to share. I'm going to share my screen here really quickly because I've been citing this statistic a lot, and I think it's an important statistic because it allows people to know why we're doing what we're doing with immigration. And this is, I had an interview yesterday, and I was talking about this, but I went out and got the. This. I just did a quick search because I wanted to pull it up on the government website. Here's the thing, right? There's a number of different reasons, and you can see from the graphic here, right? There's a number of different reasons why. I'll just make it bigger for everybody. There's a number of different reasons why people or immigrants to Canada are beneficial, right? And so if you look at this is on the Government of Canada website. So it's basically what they're saying, and you can see the first point. Immigrants contribute to the economy and create jobs for Canadians. Okay? Give me a thumbs up on that, right? But here's what's interesting about that. And here's what's really, really, I think, is something that people need to understand. Okay? We, like everywhere else, have an aging population. And here's the big thing there. There's a nice little picture there and everything. But we, like everyone else, have an aging population, okay? Recently, right, the reason that we're bringing in so many people to Canada is because we have the lowest birth rate since 1918, right? So we don't have people that are actually being born into the country. And it's all about the economy and jobs and different things. But the other thing that Canada has is we have all these really great benefits, right? What is it, like old age security, Canadian pension plan, all of these things. And we have a bunch of retirees. And you can see from the infographic, we have fewer people that are supporting them. I don't know. Did I discuss this with you, John? Because I've been saying this a lot lately.
Yeah. We talked about it in great depth. This is the demographic bomb that almost all Western countries are facing with the aging of the baby boomers. But continue. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And to contextualize this, right, there was 6.5 workers to every one retiree in 1970. Currently, it's 4-1. And by 2035, it's going to be 2-1. So basically what that means is that we can't continue to sustain what we want. So if you're wondering why and how and why they're all doing this and why they're bringing people to Canada, it's because we need to keep the system moving. And the system is predicated on the fact that economies and growth, and you hear about that across everything, but you have to fuel that growth. And how are you going to fuel it? You got to fuel it with people and growth and different things like that. So, yeah. So did you have anything to say on that, John?
Yeah, I'm going to be 66 in 2035, so I need somebody to pay my pension. So let's get everybody over here.
Let's get everybody over here. Yeah, right. Okay, so listen, we got a few questions here. Let's see here. Ruben White. Ruben, give me a thumbs up if you're still there, or a heart or something so we can see you. All right. Ruben asked, how can we get a student visa for Canada? Okay, Ruben, that's a really big question. And I would love to answer that, but we only have like 8 minutes left, and that would probably take me an hour. But what I will do is we can give you. Do you want me to grab this one, John?
Yeah, or we could even have another coffee with John and Brandon down the line where we're going to dive right into students.
Oh, we're going to.
Yeah. So Ruben, you could wait for that day, or.
No, we gotta. No, come on, John. We gotta give him a little love. Give him a little love. Let's give him a little bit here. So, how do you get a student visa to Kent? Do you want to grab that, or do you want me to grab it?
Well, it depends where you are, Ruben. I mean, if you're curious, you should go onto Google and just type in Student Direct Stream Canada, and then you can find a program there where there's almost an expedited process for people of certain countries: India, China, Philippines, Pakistan, Senegal, I think, are the countries that are involved. Great, lots of information there. Vietnam, lots of great information there. Americans are the only country where their citizens can apply at the border upon entry for a study permit. Huge opportunities in Canada. For Americans should really consider studying in Canada because the foreign fees that Americans have to pay is often less than what they would pay at a private university in the United States. It's well worth looking into.
Student debt, the whole thing, it's gone.
Yeah. Canada's a great destination for students.
So Ruben, basically, I'll just give you a few takeaways, but don't worry, rest assured, we're gonna be talking about students. So John was referring to an SDS stream, so student direct stream. So if you're in one of those countries, you can do that. If you're in the US, then you can go that route where you can apply literally at the border. Don't just show up at the border and say, I want something. You have to prepare for that. The other thing is that you're going to need to apply to a school, get accepted, get all of the stuff that you need. And then you're going to need, a letter of acceptance. You're going to fill in an application, show that you can pay for it, apply for the study permit. If there's a work component to it, you're going to have to apply for that. So you have a co-op work permit, et cetera, and basically go through all of that. That's on a very high level. So, but yeah, you know what, Ruben, we'll figure something out if you want to, we'll be posting some stuff up. Hopefully you're in our group there and you'll see that. I'm going to move on because we got one more question here and it is from Raza. So, it's funny, I actually speak Korean somewhat well. I haven't done it in a while. I lived in Korea for a little while, so I can see Raza. So anyways, mine is Burandin. Yeah, we'll do that one day for you. But can I get a tourist entry for my kids, even though the documents for sponsorship is done? It's been anywhere once we received the decision. It's been a year. Sorry, it's put together. It's been a year since we received the decision. I'm not sure what sponsorship you're referring to. Is if it's a spousal sponsorship, yeah, that's actually a really complicated question. And I want to speak in general terms, but there's a few different things. I don't know how old your kids are, if they're dependents or not. I don't know what type of sponsorship it is. Was it done through an economic program or was it a spousal? If it was that, were they already examined? Are they actually Canadian citizens? If you're sponsored by a spouse, then your kids might already be just have to get a grant to citizenship. So there's a lot to unpack there. I'm not sure. It's been a year since you received a decision. So you've been approved for the sponsorship already, and are you a PR? I know that's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions there, but these things are really complicated to be able to answer it. But yes. Generally, what you need to know when you talk about tourist visas is they're highly discretionary. So you need to be careful with that. I
can offer one nugget if that helps.
Please.
There's something that officers look at when they are issuing tourist visas to people who have made sponsorship applications, and it's a matter of what's called intent. And so when you submit an application for sponsorship and permanent residence, we call it a joint application, and it's reached the stage where you've been issued a file number and the sponsor has been approved for sponsorship and the permanent residence application is put into processing, intent has been made. The person's intent is to move to Canada. That's clear. They put together this huge application. They fired it in. They paid all this money. Intent is clear. They want to come to Canada. quite often that works in your favor if you want the people who are being sponsored to come to Canada to visit while that application for permanent residence is being processed. So again, we need to know a lot more about your case, Raza, but your kids could well be approved for a tourist visa. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Raza. You can certainly reach out, and I think we're coming to the end here. So I'm going to slap up our graphic here, John, because sometimes we get people texting us and they're wondering different things. Mm-hmm. So, guys, if you want to keep in touch with us, here's a few ways to get started. So first off, join our Facebook community. All right. So we've got everything there. Presumably you're already there, but it's groups at My Second Passport. Okay. Go to Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook, right? Actually, maybe not so much these days, but go there, groups, My Second Passport, but we're on Facebook. So that's the first thing. You can grab a copy of the book, Second Passport, on Amazon if you'd like, or if you have a very personalized session or personalized situation, or you need some help with it, you can go and go to mysecondpassport.ca/booking. Okay. So again, those are some options for you. Feel free to reach out, guys. This is very unscripted, okay? And I know, Ruben just threw in a question, and Raza and everybody else. We're kind of just putting together a few notes, prior to going on here. And the reason is that we don't want to, old coffee with John and Brandon is basically that. We're just sitting around and we're just chatting about whatever comes up. This is very driven by you guys. So if you have anything that you want to put in there, or if you want to, ask a question, please put it in the group. We might even just turn it into a whole session for you. Again, it's really, we just want to show up and help you guys out if you have some questions. I don't know about you, but I love this.
The first question we got about student visas, I mean, like I said, we'll have a complete session just talking about students.
100%. Actually, we'll have probably a few because that's a few. That's a fun one, and it's actually really popular these days. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for that because, again, it all ends at express entry. So whether you're a student or not, you're most likely going to end up there. So again, we know 50%, 58%, of people as of 2019 showed up. The numbers are going to dip, as John was saying, but yeah, it's true. So anyways, listen, let's leave it at that. Guys, thank you so much for showing up. Really appreciate it. Thumbs up to you. And if there's any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Also, if you liked what we're doing here, please share, let people know, because we want more people to be able to ask us some questions, and we want to help you guys out. Okay.
Definitely.
Hope everybody's staying safe. John, you take care, bud.
See you guys later. All good.
All right. Take care, man. Have a good one, guys. Everybody stay safe. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. We're live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 Eastern and 9:30 Pacific. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks again for the people that are watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Okay. Bye, John. Take care, man.